everyone. Thanks very much. I'm Myrsini. I'm a community manager at Nexmo. We're a cloud communications platform offering APIs for SMS, voice, other messaging like WhatsApp, and much more. I've been involved with hackathons for about 5 years now. I really love hackathons as they're a place where people come together, they share ideas, they learn and innovate. When I was working for PayPal a few years ago, we ran a global series of hackathons called Battle Hack, and we even ran one here in Tokyo in 2015. So I wasn't actually here for this one. It was our APAC team who ran it. I think I was doing one in Berlin. So I was a bit jealous that they were here in Tokyo, but it's my first time visiting now, so I'm very happy to be here. So at Battle Hack, developers participated. They tried out our APIs. They built solutions for a better world. They made friends, and they won prizes. So Battle Hack was a good example of a hackathon for the wider developer community. However, I'm here to talk to you about internal hackathons, and specifically I'm going to tell you the story of how we run our internal hackathon at Nexmo, why we did it, why it was important to us in terms of internal advocacy, and I'll give you some practical tips along the way as well. Can I get a show of hands if you've participated in a company's internal hackathon before? One person. Okay. I'm guessing that no one has ever run their own internal hackathon either. Well, the same person again, great. So hopefully, if you're interested in this, you'll be able to learn some things, and feel free to ask me questions in the end if it's something you want to get started and implement at your company. So I'm sort of starting from the end here. This is everyone that was at our first internal hackathon. On the second day, after 24 hours of hacking, and everyone's still excited and awake, which was important, but not as excited as my colleague Manik was, who took the role of developer avocado a bit too seriously and was running around the office causing health and safety issues. But let me take it from the top. So our DevRel team at Nexmo is responsible for a lot of things. We write the documentation and maintain libraries for our APIs. We create and work on the developer onboarding experience and much more. Can I actually ask you if you've ever heard of Nexmo before today? With people? So one of the things we love doing is interacting with our external developer community. We raise awareness of our APIs. We bring product feedback back to our product managers and engineers. And we also love to support, empower, and enable developer communities to build amazing things, and also organize events like DevRelCon Tokyo. However, we also focus our efforts on internal advocacy. We have a community of developers and other disciplines within our company, and theoretically they're also the first people that will be using our products. They sometimes join us at events, we do workshops for them, we give out swag, but we definitely knew we wanted to do more than that. So at our company, our HR and other departments are committed to creating a great working environment for employees and making our company a destination place to work for engineers and other disciplines as well. And they focus on 3 things. They focus on culture, growth and enablement, reward and recognition. And to that end, there's things like free lunches, there's remote working and flexible working. You can work from home or come to the office. Everyone celebrates milestones and successes. There's training and upskilling. Our launch and engineering team has like happy hours, ping pong tournaments, you name it. You can even bring your dog to the office. This is Yadzi, one of our resident dogs at Halloween, dressed as a taco. She was also at our hackathon. This is a photo from the day of our event. So as you can see, at the office we have a lovely atmosphere, and everyone contributes into creating that. So when our team started thinking about internal advocacy, we also started to look at what, as a DevRel team, we could do to contribute to that culture. How could we bring the outside in? So how could we bring what we're doing for our external developer community, align it with our company's culture and our own values as well, and create something that enables and gives back to our engineers within the company? So we looked at what we're doing externally, what was already happening in the company, and also taking in mind how we could also advocate internally for our own products. So we wanted something that could serve all of this in a balancing way. A lot of companies default to a hackathon as a quick solution for internal advocacy. There's companies like Facebook and Eventbrite that do hackathons. Someone here mentioned they do one before. And there were actually a couple of ones that had happened within our group of companies that Nexmo belongs to, called Vonage. And for an internal hackathon, you can have very different themes and topics. Terence talked about topics and themes for external hackathons before, but internally, hackathons might have some different topics. So one of them could be to build completely new products and processes. Another theme could be to make processes and things you're using better. Or it could be about learning, or it could be about building something fun in general completely, and just about team building and getting everyone together. So we're thinking if a hackathon was the right solution for us for the work we wanted to do for internal advocacy, and how we could find the answer to this question. You may have heard of this method of figuring out strategies and goals before: think, feel, and do. For example, for this presentation today, I went through the same process and sort of thought about the audience here and what I wanted you to go away thinking, feeling, and doing. So hopefully by the end of the session, you can go away thinking that an internal hackathon is something you want to do, feeling empowered that you know a few things and a few tips on how to implement it, and then going to actively speak to your team and your company about making it happen. And I've used this a lot of times in the past with teammates or execs in companies I've worked with, or clients when I was doing events and hackathons, because sometimes people start with the end instead of going and following a path to the solution. So people would start with, yes, let's throw an event or a hackathon. But going through this exercise will help you figure out if you're on the right path. So in terms of our internal advocacy program, we wanted our audience to think that our company has a great culture and that we promote innovation. We wanted them to feel connected to colleagues and feel creative, that they're building something. And we wanted them to get more hands-on with our own products. So when we started to think what we could do that brought everyone together, promoted collaboration, and educated everyone on our own products, and a hackathon seemed like the right answer. So the first step, since we do have our goal and the answer was the hackathon, was to start putting it all together. So at this stage, we started thinking about more specific parameters to set our goals. And like I mentioned before, what was the challenge really about? Is this something global within the company or local? Which teams would be involved? We also wanted to make sure that our goals were achievable and that they were specific enough so we could measure them and see how well we did and how we could improve for the future. So to reiterate what I briefly mentioned before, some of our community goals were to raise awareness of our APIs, gather product feedback, and grow and enable our community members. Within the company, our priorities are culture, growth and enablement, reward and recognition. And then we considered a third factor, which was our team values. And within the team, our DevRel team, one of the values that we look to is empathy. Empathy towards each other in the team, towards others in the company and to our community. So we definitely wanted to incorporate this into our hackathon. And then we also have a commitment to building amazing products and experiences. So we concluded with 3 main goals. The first one was to get more hands-on with our own products. Of course, it was more about also learning about our products, providing feedback, advancing coding skills and presentation skills as well, because as I'll mention a bit further on, everyone in the end of the hackathon presented. So we opened it up to everyone, even novices in coding or people that were a bit rusty, and our team was at hand to help them with that. And we set the challenge as to build an innovative app or service using at least one of our APIs, but we kept the theme completely open. So you could do whatever you wanted as long as you used one of the Nexmo APIs. And we decided to give prizes for each member of each team for an overall winning hack, and then for a specific prize for each of our APIs to motivate people to use as many as possible so we could get that hands-on experience with the products. Our second goal was contributing to the company culture and making our company a destination place to work. So a fun hackathon that promotes innovation and creativity can be an employee attraction point, as developers do look for that in the culture of the company, and it can also be a retention point for existing developers within the company. And we wanted to collaborate with different departments and not to have it be an isolated thing. And we also rewarded people, apart from the prizes, with educational activities and learning and giving them opportunities to grow, which was one of our company goals as well. And finally, the third goal was to encourage team building and have a fun and bonding event. We also added a layer to that of wellness and empathy that I mentioned before, but we mainly wanted people to come together and just build fun things together. And we knew we wanted this to be an in-person event, so we wanted people to show up in person, not participate remotely, so we could encourage all of that. And we also enable people to travel from one office to the other, as I'll mention a bit later on. So these are the goals that we decided we wanted to do. So when you do think about your own internal hackathon, you can obviously set your own goals and look at what your company's culture is and localize the goals and what you'll set them to be to your specific office as well and country. Because I imagine that Japan is very different to London, which was the first place that we held our internal hackathon. So after you've set your goals and the challenge, what to do next? So the next stage for us was to get into the planning stage. So as I mentioned, we decided to launch from our London office, and we decided that because most of our team is based there and most of the Nexmo engineering team is based there as well. We planned the first hackathon for the end. It was run in the end of November 2018, and we gave ourselves about 2 months to plan it. And I'll mention Terence again. In his talk, he did say that for internal hackathons, you already have an audience there, so a couple of months should be enough to plan and get the word out so people don't book meetings and trips around that time. And we did start from London, but our plan is to take it to other offices in 2019. So when we started planning, the first thing we did was clarify the rules. So we had set up the challenge, but then we wanted to clarify what the rules were for participation. So it was to use at least one of the Nexmo APIs to win one of the prizes. We allowed people to participate in teams of 4 to encourage that collaboration, but that was the maximum amount of people you could have in a team. And we wanted people to be from our London office, so we could create that culture and reinforce the culture in the specific office. But we did manage to find budget from various engineering managers to get some people to fly in from other locations. So we had people coming from the US, Tel Aviv, and Poland, and it was great, so they could see the culture of the London office and meet people they had never met before and actually worked with before and build something together. And we decided to do it over 2 working days and 24 hours, so we didn't ask people to sacrifice their weekend, so we did it over 2 working days. So next thing was working with the team. We set up a lot of documents. We set up a private Slack channel to work on. This is a sneak peek into our timeline and checklist, but there's actually 99 rows. Here, so it's just a very small part, but we did use various tools to get the team together. Next, we look at the name and branding. We wanted it to be something that would resonate with the company culture, so we reinforced that. And we also wanted it to feel diverse and empowering and also fun. So we went with the name One Hack. One as in everyone come in and one together, and we went with like a retro, like 80s theme, just because it was cool. And it would give us a lot of opportunity to do a lot of swag and branding for the event. Next, we collaborated with our facilities team. When you're organizing an internal hackathon, you sort of already have the venue sorted, but it's very important to figure out things like dates and if there's any building work in the office going on, as it happened with us, and it finished 3 days before the event, but all went well. So next in the planning stage, we decided which stakeholders we wanted to involve, which was very important. So we involved engineering, we involved HR and recruitment, our London office management team, our support team, our corporate comms team, that they did a lot of like email blasts and promoted the hackathon for us, our UX design team, and most importantly, we involved our product managers to judge specific prizes so they could get that feedback they wanted. And we involved a lot of other people from our DevOps team, the head of engineering, to be judges. We set up a Slack channel to communicate, a wiki page, and then we looked at logistics like food and the schedule. Which brought us to the delivery stage and actually the days of the event. So about 1/3 of the office participated, which was quite good, and some visitors. 86% of people who registered attended, which is really good for an event. You usually get about a 50% drop down. 59.8% of the people who participated were engineers, and we do want to encourage for the next ones for people from other disciplines to participate as well. And idea is to host an ideation session the day before. So these are some photos from the event. We did opening talks at the start. We did a team matching session. In the green shirt here, you'll see Hugh, one of our product managers, who spoke with people to get feedback. And I also mentioned wellness and empathy and sort of building that fun side to the event. So we got a lot of like healthy food, like poke and other stuff. But we also got fun stuff like these desserts and beer. And we also showed Hackers, which is a really fun movie. If you've not seen it, definitely recommend it. We also had massages. This is Chris, one of our engineers, getting a massage. So it created a really fun and relaxing atmosphere in the event on top of building things. This is our team at the event. This is some of the attendees wearing the One Hack t-shirts. I still see people in the office wearing this. So creating a sense of pride was also part of this. These are people presenting, and these are our winners with their prizes. And we also gave prizes out for the best, worst hack. So just to encourage participation in everyone, even that happened. So stage 4 is post-event. So you've had the hackathon, and you probably might want to do more. So it's very important to send a survey out to measure what you've done and ask the employees how they think they went. We also shared photos on like our workplace and Slack. We sent an internal newsletter, and we added info, an email blast. We wrote an external blog that you can go on our blog at Nexmo and read all about it and find out more details and some stats. And we did pretty well. We got a great feedback. So overall, we felt that teams incorporated our APIs and tried out different products. We started creating that hackathon culture in the office. Employees from different parties countries started working together. So we're just about in the end now. So we talked about a few different things, and it's worth mentioning that all we did is adaptable and achievable for any type or size of organization, and that you can localize things and make it specific to your company, to your cultural company goals, and to your team goals as well. You can spend as much or as little budget as possible, depending on what expectations you set for the event. So, as I mentioned, the exercise of think, feel, and do before, it would be awesome if you go away thinking that an internal hack is achievable, that you feel empowered to do one if you haven't yet, and going away actively speaking with your team to make it happen. And please do come around and find me after if you want to talk about more details of how we put this together, and I'll be happy to help you start thinking about your own. Thank you.